having affordable house is like a big bridge.
Having a home means stability.
It's undescribable.
The housing is very important in my life because it's a part of my life I never dreamt I would be where I'm at today.
There's so much in the streets that will lead you to temptations. There's nothing like your own place where you can do what you need to do and come home and find the peace and serenity and close your door of home.
I think we have to understand housing is just a fundamental building block of life. That without secure housing, it is just nearly impossible for life to come together.
If you strive to work and go to work every day and you cannot afford a place to live, that makes you seem like you lose your self-worth or you lose your self-purpose.
You can't really have a healthy individual if you don't have decent housing. You can't have a healthy neighborhood if you don't have decent housing, and you can't have a healthy city if you don't have decent housing. It's fundamental.
Way back in 2006, when this economy was booming and real estate prices were going through the roof, the council and the mayor created a comprehensive housing strategy task force.
The market is too high, and the average income of the average population in the District of Columbia is around $35,000 to $40,000. So you cannot afford to buy a house at $300,000 or a simple condominium.
The task force pointed out to the city that in order to keep a mix of population, low and moderate income people in the city, we were going to have to make a much bigger effort on affordable housing. Right now, the city needs to recommit to a continuum of affordable housing.
Everyone needs a good place to live. And if you think about the diversity of a community or of a city, the diversity of age, the diversity of life experience, of income. And the continuum of housing is really trying to say that we need housing that is right for people at different stages in life and at different life circumstances.
I was a single mother, and I know I can afford regular rent.
Most of my life I was moved around, and I know that once I found out I was pregnant and that there was nothing else that I can do about it, I knew that I wanted to have, I needed to provide a life for my child that I didn't really get to have.
When I first got to Jubilee, I hadn't had my own place in over 10 years. I was recovering from substance abuse, and so I was really grateful because I never knew I was homeless, until I started attending AA and NA meetings, and they asked me, did you have keys to where you were living? No. Then it all dawned on me, oh, Betty, you were homeless.
I had my own apartment in Southeast Washington, D.C., and I was in an abusive relationship, so I ended up moving in the middle of the night to what is called transitional housing. It's a women and children's shelter.
All along the continuum, there's a connection between each of these categories: shelter, transitional, special needs, rental, ownership. What we have in the coalition is connections with each other so that the groups are working with each other to help people move along this continuum to the place that they can exercise their full potential.
That's the #1 issue in the district today, affordable housing. I think everybody would love to have a roof over their head, a place they can call home. But unfortunately, it's not that way in the district.
We've done a chart that shows that the district's only devoting about $1.33 out of every $100 in its budget for affordable housing. It devotes $23 to education, a great deal to public safety, public works, but affordable housing is way down at the bottom of the list.
We have a high priority now on improving the schools. But children don't learn if they live in devastated neighborhoods. We have to improve the neighborhoods and the housing in the neighborhoods at the same time we work on improving the schools.
There have been a number of studies that have been done that talk about how important stable housing is to the success of young people in school. Children who have to move a lot, they lose that stability, and so you see that their educational achievement goes down. What we're talking about is the need of real people. That we can't boil this down into just a numbers game, that it's just not about statistics, it's not just about units, it's about real people, real families who have real needs.
Nonprofits are key to producing an affordable housing continuum in DC. From the public sector to the private sector, it's very important that we be mindful of and help to provide the resources to maintain a stable number of nonprofit affordable housing developers. Otherwise, I think we are going to be very much stymied in terms of producing the housing necessary along the continuum.
There's a lot of talk about making Washington, D.C. a world-class city. And when I hear that, it's usually in reference to glitzy developments or maybe even new parks and recreation, but it's not often spoken about as affordable housing. And my view is to have a world-class city, you have to be providing decent housing for your residents, or you don't have a world-class city.
I was once homeless myself, and I came a long way. And when I look at my place today, I wake up. I am so proud of it.
Now that I have my own everything, it just, and I'm able to afford it and not worry about where our next meal is going to come from, or where, how my light bill is going to be paid, or because it's able to go by my income. It just means everything, because it takes a lot of stress off of me, and I can focus on me and raising my kids the right way.
It's been 2 years and it still really hasn't settled in that I'm a homeowner. I'm just thankful that, I have affordable housing and decent housing.
Sometimes I cry when I remember how I came and how I am now.
Affordable housing is a lot for me. A lot of people will not think that just a house to offer is not enough, but to me, that's what it helps me to survive. It helps me to survive and to keep on going to the right directions.
When you're out there in the street, you're alone. And so when you come into this process, you get so much support that it's like nothing you can accomplish. And so it really helps me, to know that I have a home I can call my own.
I think affordable housing actually gives people like me who actually been down and out that boost and that support, that hope that there's a better tomorrow.